Hi, my name is Mr. Kinsey. I am Deputy Head Teacher and my main area of responsibility is teaching and learning. It may seem obvious, but our purpose as a school is to make children cleverer. Obviously, we want children to know as much information as possible about a range of subjects. The way that we do that is by delivering a very precise curriculum which is knowledge rich and planned in such a way that follows a certain sequence. That sequencing is key because it's the way that we enable our students to know and remember more information. The curriculum isn't just about each subject, English, maths, history, geography, etc. It's also about cultural capital and information that our students will need around their subjects to support them in later life as adults. The way that we deliver this information enables access to the long-term memory for our learners. We will embed learning over time through a range of different strategies to enable our students to recall information that they are taught. We're also very keen to ensure that our classes have very little distraction, if any at all. And distractions are dealt with quite seriously because they inhibit the learning of other students. Ultimately, the best way that we can improve a child's life when they leave is to ensure that they have the best qualifications possible. We have a phrase at Sir Thomas Potler Church of England High School, and that phrase is knowledge is power. This is something that we truly believe, which is why we strive to ensure our students become more knowledgeable. We believe that learning is an alteration in the long-term memory, and we know that through our strategies we have to embed learning in the long-term memory. The more that students know and remember, the more progress that they are making. One of the strategies we use to embed learning is called Recall 5. Each teacher delivers a Recall 5 at the start of every lesson. That's 5 lessons a day, 25 times a week. This process requires students to recall information that they have been previously taught. This may be from the day before, the week before, or even the previous term. The harder this information is to recall for students, the more likely it is that it will stay in the long-term memory once it has been recalled. Teachers actually plan for forgetting time and they sequence it in such an order that the recall is a more effective process. On the next few slides there are examples from history, English and maths of the Recall 5. The next 4 slides are examples for you of an opening slide to a lesson. So we've got English, we've got history and we've got PE. So examples of the Recall 5, so the Recall 5 being retrieval questions, the type of questions that would be 1 markers on an exam. And these questions shouldn't really take longer than 6-7 minutes at the start of the lesson. The students are really familiar with this process and understand the importance of it in terms of the actual process of retrieving and embedding learning in their long-term memory, even if they can't always get the answer. Then you'll see an example of the big picture. So in history, what was the British Empire? That will cover a number of different lessons, but the zoom is what they're actually learning in that lesson. What impact did the British Empire have on its colonies? In addition to the other examples from English and PE, you'll see on the slide below that there is a flowchart of a number of lessons in a scheme of work from history, so students can see where they are at on their learning journey. Here is an example of a learning journey. This example is from history. The teachers will share the learning journey with the students so they understand the big picture and the context of their learning, what they've learned previously, what they're learning now, and what they're going to be learning next. This enables the students to contextualise their learning and understand the why and the what about the content. On this slide you will see an image of 2 ladders. The ladder on the right hand side has quite big steps and probably represents how many schools used to teach. Currently, schools try to focus on smaller steps in their teaching. We do this very specifically. We ensure that the information which is shared from teachers is released very gradually, and also that it's granular. For example, the knowledge that we share is broken down into very, very small chunks to enable the students to access and understand it without causing overload. This small step approach pays dividends for all groups of students. Because of the scientific approach that we take to our teaching and learning, it's key that students in class are fully prepared. When the students come into school in the morning, we check that they have their independent study pack, they have their equipment and reading book and calculator. Equipment means a fully stocked pencil case. Further information can which be found on the website. This means that when they come to lessons, the teacher can literally start to teach. There are no barriers whatsoever. There's nobody saying, I've not got a pen, sir, I've not got a ruler, miss. All that has already been checked and challenged and put into place. That means the learning can be fluent and the teacher can get through the content that they need. We also have seating plans because the teacher will learn over time the best place to seat students to A, avoid distractions, and B, to maximise their learning. As I said earlier, we do not tolerate any disruption in lessons because lessons require hard thinking, and we have two calls in lessons. They are teacher time and task time. When teacher time is called, that means the teacher is talking and students are not allowed to talk. When task time is called, that means the students are working in silence and cannot talk to each other. Again, because learning requires deep, hard thinking. There will, on occasion, be a call named team time, which allows students to talk together about the content and about the work that they are doing in that lesson. We have to avoid that students don't have gaps in their learning. Gaps in learning make future learning much more challenging. Therefore, pure retention is always required. I've already referenced independent study packs. The independent study pack will contain a timetable on the front cover, a map of the school for Year 7s, a list of clubs, and more importantly, knowledge organisers. A knowledge organiser is a booklet for each subject which contains all the basic knowledge and facts about every topic that they will study. This will help the students in their learning in the classroom, and when students may be struggling with learning, they can talk to the teacher or they can go to their knowledge organiser, because the knowledge organiser will have the information to support that challenge. On the knowledge organisers, there are cold and hot questions. These will sometimes be used in lessons to recall information, or they will further be used for homework to reinforce the learning that has taken place in the classroom. It's vital that students bring their independent study pack to school every day, and they're required to get this out every form time and every single lesson. Please scroll through the next 7 slides to see examples of knowledge organisers from different subjects. These show the learning journey, they show the level of content that is required for each knowledge organiser, they show how the content can actually help learning and give worked examples by teachers, and they're examples of hot and cold questions. I hope you've been able to get a sense of our focus on knowledge and why we think it is so important and powerful. There are, of course, many different support mechanisms and many different systems across the school that will enable your child to become the very best that they can be. This presentation in particular has been around our provision in the classroom, where we will always have high expectations, high aspirations and high standards for for our students, because we know that with those aspects they will succeed.